Hey guys. How you doing? Welcome to a new live stream. My name's John Limcool, John Skippy Limcool. Hands together, head bowed. Welcome to all of you. I'm so happy I have a new mic placement for my microphone. So it's farther away from the keys, so you don't hear the keys so much, but I still sound good, and you don't see this thing in the picture because it's off screen. I have one of these really cool arms holding the microphone that's swivelable. Is that a word? Swivelable. So I can swivel it out of the way when I'm working and making, libraries and stuff like that. And then when I'm not, I can just put it into place and boop, I can start to do the video. Anyway, welcome. I hope you all are doing well. I am really thrilled. There is a new Omnisphere 2 library that we are promoting. I'm checking my levels to make sure I'm not too hot. Let me know if the levels sound okay to you guys. I think they're okay. I hope they're okay. But good to see you all. Welcome. We have a new library from Tim Dale. This is library number 7 that is of Tim Dale specific, and he has contributed to a number of other libraries, probably into like the 10, 11, 12 range. He's prolific programmer, and it's just been a joy to work with him all these years. And he hit it out of the park. Fabulous library, Floating Lotus says. That's great. Yeah, so this is Dark Forces, and let me do this. Let me start it up just in Omnisphere without all this extra gobbledygook. I did a little promoting of Unify as I did the walkthrough video because it's just so fun to like what you can do in Unify, and you could put hearts to the patches and all that kind of stuff. But let's see here. I want to make sure you can see this. So this library, if we go over here to the user directories, it's a SabreSounds, Dark Forces. Okay, what's playing? That's all Omnisphere. Wow, it's doing a lot. Okay, cool. So this is a library inside of Omnisphere 2. There's like over 60 different samples in the library, as well as 225 patches and multis. They go all over the place. It's kind of edgy. I kind of like edgy organic because there's a cool vibe to it. It's kind of a perfect place between, like, we did a library years ago called Toxic Omnisphere, which is just all these. Yeah, I'm hearing layers from stuff. So hold on a second. I got to figure out what's going on. I might be inside of an Omnisphere Unify bubble of some sort. So 1 second. You're not supposed to be. See, I should only be hearing one Omnisphere, and I'm hearing more than one. It's like. There we go. Sometimes I've noticed this thing where the window for Omnisphere goes away. You can click the little browser, go away, and come back. And that gets you the buttons for controlling the window of Omnisphere again. But Toxic Omnisphere was just, it's very aggressive. It's very cool, but we needed someplace maybe a little bit softer to land, and so Tim Dale did a masterful job of finding a place below that kind of level of intensity to find edgy, little distortion. Grunt work, cool patch names. And then inside of Unify, all 225 patches are available, plus 100 patches that Tim made. And then I created a drum kit, I said, hey, Tim, because inside of the Omnisphere library, if you go to the samples, let's get to somewhere where the dark forces, if you go over here to user directories, they make it really hard to find these, but they are here. If you get down to SabreSound Dark Forces, there's all of these drums, kitchen percussion, metallic, PVC pipes. Tim, what are you doing with PVC pipes? VCV synth, he's got some really cool synth drums and so forth. I was like, we should make a drum kit of all these samples because he used these inside of Omnisphere for BPM drum, all these. I love this one. Yeah, we're going to do some techno now. Listen to me now. Oh wait, don't close that. You can take something like this, just to show how fun it is to play this really quick. Go to BPM drums, change this to Unify/drum, because I'm going to load drum grooves and I don't want to transpose. And then we go like, let's do the Jakarta groove. And let's make it do Rhythm Freak. Fits right in there. It's really cool. But the Omnisphere one will transpose and pitch. It's cool. Right? They all are tempo locked and all that kind of stuff. Oh, my heater, my air. Let me turn off my AC. That's what it is. My gosh. So I turned it on to air conditioner, right? Because the sun's out. And whenever the sun is out, the second floor gets hot. And I turned it off. And it just turned itself back on to the heater setting that I've been using. It like trying to warm up the room to 80 degrees. So yeah. Anyway, thanks. So if we go back to the library, and I've got all the Cherry audio because they were really cool and put a little blurb in their latest newsletter for Voltage and for Cherry audio products, for all the unified libraries for Cherry audio that we've done. It's so cool. They did that. Thank you for that. Because there might be some of you new guys in the group that are new to Unify. So welcome if you're new. But anyway, so I took all of those samples that were in Omnisphere used for single patches and mapped them across the keyboard. Go back here. Drum kit. Here we go. Oh, wait, I need to go over here and say normal load so it doesn't just load it over here. And then it just loads up. Actually, 70 samples. So it has all the percussion and stuff from the library, plus Tim sent me everything that he has. And I just went through and cherry-picked a few other additional hits. There's a Bodron. Actually, two Bodrons. The deeper, bigger one. Guitars. All this kind of cool percussion. And so both the drum kit, and then if you go up here to BPM drum, there's a whole bunch of grooves that I made to add to the library. And these work great. If you go to Unified/drum, here's that Tetratronic that Tim made in Omnisphere. Click that. They all work really, really, really well together. So it's a great library. There's a video walkthrough that I just got onto the video set. So if you haven't seen that video, please watch it. I went through and picked out 85 out of the 337 patches. To show you what this library has to offer. It's available at the website. Let me show you that real quick at pluginguru.com. It is available. It's on a crazy, we're doing a two-tier introductory price for this library. For 1 week, you have a chance to get it at what I call the stupid price of $20. And then the week after that, starting next Sunday night, it will be $29. And then after that, it will go to its retail price of $39. And let's see here. It's available through here as well as from from the products list. And here it is. And there's demos. I haven't gotten the video linked up here yet, but I will get the video link after this live stream is over. But at pluginguru.com, you can pick up the library. It came out so great. And I have a special treat. The creator of this library, the one and only Mr. Tim Dale, is here to join us in an interview. Yay! Hello, Tim.
Hi there.
How are you doing, mate?
I'm fine, thank you.
Awesome. Well, good job on this library. It's really fun how it has turned out. It's obvious that this is an awful lot of work. How are you doing?
I'm good. Yeah, it's been a long project. I probably started on this back in 2021. So actually, had it's been in the works for a little while.
Yes, it has. Well, it has paid off very well. What would you describe the library? How would you describe it? Because I've kind of put my spin on it, but it's your baby. So how do you see the library?
Yeah, so I started off, I think, as you said, because I was aiming for something a little bit more aggressive, hard-edged.
Yes.
Because I think after I released my last Omnisphere library, which was Tetrasonics, you said to me, we can't really just keep selling just generic general purpose libraries because they're just not selling anymore. So,
yeah.
If you want to sell a library, it's got to have a sort of target. So I was trying to look around and sort of try and work out what direction can the library go.
Yeah.
And what I noticed was that, the number of Omnisphere libraries now is huge.
Yes.
And there just seems to be new ones every week as well.
Yes.
But what I noticed is that every library, and it's probably a bit of a generalization, but every Omnisphere library that's come out in the last couple of years have been sort of like ambient cinematic sort of style.
Yeah.
And
you know why?
Which Omnisphere?
Those are easier patches to make.
Well, yeah, which sort of sounds that Omnisphere can do with one hand tied behind its back. So I thought, what will be a challenge? What can I do that's different?
Yeah.
And what I realized is when you start looking at people who are producing music in the pop industry, that sort of hard-edged pop, they tend to be using synths like Serum, etc., and not so much Omnisphere for that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so I thought, it'd be good if Omnisphere could. If we know Omnisphere could do that, because say you brought out Toxic Omnisphere, so it existed, those sounds existed. So I set about trying to head in that direction. But what I noticed about Toxic Omnisphere, is that you can't put many of those sounds in a mix.
Yeah.
You can, and in fact, I think most of the patches are basses, aren't they, in that library?
Which one? Toxic. Yeah. It's a lot of
Omnisphere, I think.
Well, it's for bass music, which is really heavy on groove and bass.
Yeah, I think so.
And transition sound effects.
I thought, can we take that idea, but sort of spread it around to different types of instruments as well?
Yeah.
So at the same time, then I started doing a lot of sampling because my first few libraries didn't include any extra samples, and I did a few for the Tetrasonics library. But I thought I'd really set down to start doing a lot of sampling. And so that fed into the library as well in terms of what I was coming up with. There's a lot of percussive sounds. I can answer the PVC pipe question, by the way.
Yes.
What I did as a bit of an experiment was I cut PVC pipes to the correct wavelengths for each C on the keyboard. So this one is 4'3", so that's actually C2.
And did you play him with a mallet or?
Yeah, so hitting the end with mallet.
Right. You could probably pop the end too, right? If you pop the end, does it do a pitch?
It sounded really good. This is C7. This didn't sound good. You just can't make much of a sound out of that. So
it sounds like a bossa nova little.
That failed. But so I had all the different lengths.
Oh, how funny!
Laid out across the floor and was recording them. So,
right.
That's in there. There's all sorts of other lots of percussive instruments.
Yes, we love our percussion. That's for sure.
Yeah. So I.
That's really fun.
Did that. So that fed into the library as well. And then it started becoming I started listening to a lot of different genres and just thinking, I think there are sounds here that could really work in sort of a modern pop or some of the other genres that are out now, like dark wave and hard wave and various other things like that. That there's just nothing in Omnisphere at the moment really aimed at that. So
right.
It's
It's a nice hole to fill with patches that kind of are a little bit different, not going cinematic, not going dreamy, simple sounds with reverb and put a nice filter and reverb on it, and you've got your little
So there's a lot of distortion.
Yes,
on patches. Some of them only when you use the model wheel, but
right.
Most of the patches have distortion in some way.
Right. Yeah, I did a library called Malicious Synth. That was nothing, but every patch had to have distortion for Synth because it was all like techno, bright, really highly produced sounds. It's like, no, got to have a little edgy every now and then in there. It's really nice to have a little edge with everything else being soft, and it really makes it stand out nicely. So yeah, it's a necessary library to have.
I was trying all sorts of methods of adding distortion. So one of them is, you can see the end here lit up.
Yes,
is the plasma drive module from Erica Synths and Game Changer Audio.
Now, so have you shocked yourself with that? Have you shocked yourself?
No. I have been told never ever open the case of that because it does reach something like 5,000 volts or something. So yeah, you've got to be a bit careful with that one.
Yes.
But it adds just unearthly distortion. That
yes.
One. So you have to be a bit careful with that.
Glowing blue. It's interesting. I'm looking at the number of people watching right now. I think a lot of people forgot about daylight savings still.
Yes. Yeah. Well,
I saw your notice that you did on Facebook and everything, and still
because I've been caught out with that the last couple of years.
Yes.
arrived just in time for the end of the live stream.
Yeah. It's one of those things where, like, if only I had a technical difficulty and my library database was not showing up for a minute in Unify, and I was planning to send out a little like live stream in 30 minutes. And, when it gets close to the time for the live stream, something invariably is going to technically go wrong. It's going to require some attention to fix. So we didn't do that. So yeah, well, they can watch it on the replay because it does record it at least. So, well, wonderful. Hey, do you guys in the chat, if you have any questions for Tim, tell me in Omnisphere, when you're programming, what's your process? Do you have a flow that you do? Do you start from a certain place? What kind of sounds do you, if you're going for a certain rhythmic kind of thing, what do you try to go for?
Oh yeah, well, I tend to do sort of a mixture. So some are just starting from scratch and just try different samples. So both the new samples and also some of the sound sources on the Sphere which don't get used a lot.
Yes.
Just trying different things just to see what you can come up with. But there's also a lot of sounds I did where I had something in mind of trying to reproduce something that didn't exist.
Yeah.
So like there's a couple of sounds and you'll see them in the descriptions that are actually based on sounds from specific songs.
Right.
So So I had both approaches for that. So sometimes you can get some really happy accents with Omnisphere, and sometimes, of course, you can set off trying to produce one thing and end up with something completely different.
Right. Well, that's the fun of programming is you never know the path.
Regularly. Yes.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Well, it's a great library. It came out really good. What are you working on now? What's in the future for you?
I'm actually I've been working on a library for pigments.
Oh, great.
So I have actually completed the library for pigments, but we're just having a few issues trying to get it unified at the moment. So I'd like to get that done before it comes out.
Right.
And then next after that, hopefully, will be a Unify library.
Wow. Awesome.
And I should also say that because I know a lot of people have liked this Dark Forces. When I started doing the sounds for this, they started sort of multiplying quite fast. So although there were 200 patches in this library, I'm up to about 500 patches on this project.
Oh, okay.
So there will actually be a volume 2 and probably a volume 3.
Dark Forces 2.
So there's a lot more to come because there's a lot of more directions.
Yeah.
And some people did actually hear sort of early preview of the library and said this is great, but actually, can it be even harder and darker?
Right.
So so yeah, there's more coming from that as well.
Right.
Possibly later in the year or early next year. So
we have a couple questions. Let's see here. Oh, good. That's nice. Thanks, Steve. Double Helix asks, do you still play out live?
Yes. So for those who don't know, I play regularly at church.
Mm-hmm.
So I use Unify now for that. So I have an electric piano and then have Unify alongside me with a Korg Nano control.
Okay.
So I can then mix the layers. So I can bring in, whether I want strings or synth or
right,
or choir or whatever, and I can just bring them in and mix them as I want live.
Right.
And that's working really well.
Great.
And I also now got this, which is the sequential Prophet X. With my main keyboard, and I've only used that live once, and that was working with a choir. But I hope to use that again, because
that's a heavy thing to carry around.
It is, but it's solid metal. But I do have a case for it now. But it is absolutely beautiful synth.
Yes, yeah. No, it's a very cool combination of synthesis and sample libraries from ADO, which is great. So.
Oh yeah, yes, it's amazing.
Very, very good stuff. Someone else. Oh, that was from Taylor. Said, where did you get your start?
On what? On what on? Sorry, if I'm looking to the left, it's because that's where I've got the live stream running.
Right.
Read the questions.
Yeah.
Yes. So, what in terms of start? In terms of
well, let's see. Let's go back. Were you trained in piano, music, and all that from a young age?
No. When I had no musical background, but my family were involved in doing a lot of recording work of things like choirs and orchestras. So I grew up, so by the time I was like 16, I could go to a theatre and build a complete recording studio in 4 hours flat and record an orchestra.
Wow.
So that's how I got into that. So I hadn't got involved in music at all. And when I was 18 and became a student, I actually started learning the piano.
Okay.
And then after a year of that, I thought I'd like to have my own keyboard, and a friend of mine was selling his Ensoniq ESQ1. So I got that at a really good price, and then when I sat down and started working with that, I thought I liked some of the patches I didn't think were right, so I set about trying to improve them.
Right.
So that was my early programming experience, and it didn't go completely well, because I ended up making all these sounds that sounded great live, but couldn't fit in a mix.
Oh, right.
To save their lives.
Right.
So so it was a learning by experience.
That's an interesting path.
Yeah. So I had a whole stream of I've had a number of Korg keyboards over the years, and have programmed them for my own use.
Right.
For both composition and playing live.
Right.
And then, but hadn't really thought about selling libraries until I then started getting into VSTs, decided to make one big VST purchase, and that was Omnisphere.
Right. And
then started programming that, and then thought, perhaps other people might like these sounds. So I contacted you.
Yep.
And you said, I'd love to sell the sounds. They have promised, but they need a lot of work. And you were right, they did. So
we've come a long way.
It was a slow start, but it's
no, it's great. No, we had voicing has certain parameters that you don't think about when you're just making patches until you've done it for a while. And the whole performance controls and how it plays, and it's so easy to make patches that work for yourself, but when somebody else sits down to play it, so often they don't know where to even start to connect to the patch. So, but you had a great start, and I saw all the gems in there that we could polish and work up, and we got together, and now you're an experienced veteran of it, the process. So it's great.
Yes. So now I've got to the point where where I've had to edit some other people's libraries, you know.
Right. Well, you do
So
work with the European Sound Collective, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Bernie and all those good guys.
Yeah. I see Fred's on the chat. So,
hey, there's Fred. Hi, Fred. Yeah, I think we have a.
Yeah, so I have to say thank you to Fred, because it's him that actually came up with the name of the library, because the library originally had a different name,
right?
And then just before I was about to send it to you, somebody else released a library with the same name for Omnisphere.
Right.
So it had to have we had to change tack. So it's Fred that came up with the new name.
Yeah. High five, Fred. Yeah, I think we have a Diva library to release next week for him. So it's good times. Yeah. We've got I'm starting to feel like an air traffic controller. There's all these airplanes in the air to come landing down. So it's awesome.
I mean, you've called me prolific. Fred's seems to be even more prolific than I am. So.
Oh, you guys are in good class together. It's a very good thing. So, well, awesome. Are there any more questions from the chat? I can go through the library, show you some of the patches and some of the highlights. I had to do a thing to get my database back. Not for Diva. Oh, sorry.
Yes, they're not. Yes, so yes, Repro 1. I think this time.
I think it's. Library. Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't seen the library yet, so I'm not sure what it's for. I've just been told about it and the release date. I'm like, okay, well, that will work. We can.
So I was just going to comment, by the way, a little thing about some of the percussion in the library, because I mentioned one of the inspirations for this library was that again, once it was well underway, I then saw the TV series Arcane. If anyone's seen that, and that led me into discovering a whole world of music I didn't know, which is music that's connected to Riot Games and League of Legends. And I didn't realize they've been making music for 10 years and had huge musical events at their big gaming finals and things like that, and which are some of the most watched sporting finals in the world. It's like I think some of their events have been, the only event that's gave more watchers is the Football World Cup. Yes. So they are huge. And
yes, it's epic.
And some of their music has been incredible. But if you watch Arcane, in the very first episode, the first song that we're introduced to is Welcome to the Playground by B. Miller. And if you actually sit and listen to, and that's a very hard-hitting song, if you actually listen to the percussion, it almost sounds like it's made with either pots and pans or possibly crockery or garden pots.
Right.
It does sound like that. And you think, suddenly I thought, I hadn't even thought of making those sort of sounds. So that's why in the library there are percussion sounds from my kitchen, garden pots. It's amazing what you can do with a, so even a wooden spoon, a saucepan,
pots and pans and different spoons.
Yeah, and yet it's contributed to this sort of hard-hitting, sort of poppy vibe. So it's
the hard-hitting poppy video game hybrid score.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, someone else is saying that Arcane is awesome. So yes, it is definitely an enjoyable. I haven't followed it super closely. I've been watching basketball lately because we have what's called March Madness going on right now. Last night, a 16 ranked team beat a number 1 ranked team. It was crazy. Very, very exciting. But no music in the background playing. So no libraries coming from the March Madness per se. Awesome. Well, thank you for your time and for this library contribution to everybody to enjoy. I think it's really cool. And
I'll still be on the rest of the live stream if anyone has any other questions.
Yeah. If people have questions, he can be chatting away in the stream while we show other stuff. We've got other stuff to cover. So great stuff. Thank you for your time again. And thank you for this. And I'll speak to you soon.
Thanks, John.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Let's get over here. I'll talk to you later, Tim.
Yeah.
Bye, mate.
Bye, John.
That's meeting. All right. Well, that was very fun. Such a great library. So let me show you some of this really quick. I put in song just to see some of the... Yeah, so here. slow brassy vox sound based on the song Legends Never Die from League of Legends. So it's probably one of the elements in the whole mix. Very, very cool. And again, the reason we love Unify is we can just go over here, say Unify layer, and choose different patches. And off you go. Go up here to the BPM drums. Let's see up here and say boom. And then go over here, get a BPM bass and then add a big production groove over the top and off you go. So it's fun for all that kind of stuff. These rhythm things are really fun. There's 20 of them, so you can start, like I showed you but check out some of the other percussion and synth sounds. Hold on a second. I got to check in with Shane because he's saying that the live stream should start. I think we're doing a live stream. Hold on a second here. Just chill. One second. Let me. Checking with Shane because he's saying stuff. Let's see here. So copy the link. All right. So anyway, that is this library, and Tim, he's a great programmer. It's really fun to have him. All these things are really cool elements to add to. And again, because you can layer them so easily, you can go Unify Layer. There's 4 of them. It's that fun to play with. So really cool how everything works together, of course. Goes all over the place. Again, watch the video walkthrough if you're interested in this library. And if you have Omnisphere 2, you do need to be working with the latest version of Omnisphere 2, which you can click the logo right here. 2.8.5 is the latest. And yeah, good stuff. Very, very good. So check it out. Link at the pluginguru.com website as well if you're interested. Moving on, I have a little bit I could show you guys. Unfortunately, Taylor got me the samples, but they showed up blank over here, so I don't have new samples to show you. But somebody sampled their Moog Taurus, all sorts of cool stuff. So if there's time at the end of the live stream, I have something here I thought I might sample for everybody to check out. So we'll see if we can do that at the end. There's a couple things I wanted to cover on the new front, new things that are out. There's a really interesting synth That is a free synth. Let me get back up here to find where it's at. I'm horrible with remembering the names of these things. Let's see, go down here. I think it's under R, right? Yeah. I think it's Raphael. This might be no, this is the other one that we showed last week, I believe. Hold on a second. It's another person's name. Everybody does the library plugins and puts it. Paul Indy. Wave Manuel is the name of this. Let me find Manuel. If you go wavemanuel.io, this is the website where you can find this. It's a free wave shaping plugin, and it has a unique interface. The envelope is represented by 3 level dots that show you how it works. And it has basically these different parameters for synthesis. And so it can create all sorts of really interesting wave sounds, from the shaping to the FM. Let's see if we can get this to... saturation. If you bring up the middle one, that's the sustain. So it's a very nice, unique form of synthesis. And after this, there is a filter. So you can have it go up and then fade back down. I think that's the sustain, and then here's the release, so you can have it go up from the release point. Right? Yeah. And then the little dots right here, the little lines, sorry, is for the curvature. So when you create something, let's say we have this go like this. We have the attack start high and the decay come down low. The decay has a curvature parameter here, so you can change the curvature. And then there's LFOs that can be used to bring in symmetry. And you'll notice the stereo image starts to change. Each one of these sections has an LFO. So as you can see, sonically, you can get into some really cool territory. And then it has a kick butt free reverb inside of it that's just beautiful. Right? So it's a really cool synth. I was really impressed for a free experimental synth. It has a really cool character to it, doesn't it? And again, the little dot interface is really cool for the attack, decay, and the release. So you can have FM, and then you can choose the relationship, both ratio . All sorts of really cool characters are available to be pulled out from this. If you're on the Mac, I should point out, I first tried to load the VST3 version, and it did not work. So this is a case where, thank goodness the way Unify works for Wave Manual, we're using the audio unit version to get it. It works just fine. I also bought, there's a plugin called the God Particle. That is a mastering plugin That also, the VST3 didn't seem to work inside a Unify, but the audio unit version does. So sometimes one format works when the other ones don't. So if you have a plugin that's not working, I think the thing to take from that is that you can use another format. You could use the VST2 if a VST3 is not working on the PC. If you're on the Mac, you have 3 different formats to try out. If one's not working, maybe another one will, right? So it doesn't get into like, it has its sound characters. I wouldn't say it's a go-to for bass. I think you could get there with some help. You'd need to do some additional. By the way, one of my favorite plugins, if you want to just really focus the low end inside a Unify, is over here under EQ loudness. This can really bring out the fundamental tone. I mean, it's startling actually how, like, there's not much bass there, but you can hear it. But loudness, man, it's so sweet. For example, you'll notice on virtually every patch in the Rad Waves library, I have that loudness right here. So that if you want, you can bring up more low end, or else if there's too much, taper it back. Right? So anyway, just as a little side offshoot on that. So Wave Manual, it's available here. It is free, and I'm very impressed. It's great. The reverb in it is really cool. So if we go over here, I think this is, again, he's got it under his name. It's so interesting. Like some of these companies like Plugin Alliance does this a little bit. The guys with some of the other, what's the Don't Crack? They sell all these different plugins for all these different people. You don't know, the usual suspects is where you find the plugin instead of the name of the actual website. So that's kind of the case here. It's not Raphael. It's Paul Lindy. So that will get you to Wave Manual. Isn't that nice? So it's very nice. If you need little plucky things and cool ambiances, this is a really great place to go. So check it out. That is free. Now, as a comparison, let's turn off this reverb. I have a couple other reverbs to show you guys. I was made aware, people have been letting me know about, there's 2 other reverbs to check out. What's it called? Native Reverb from SSL. This is like a $280 reverb plugin, and you can find it at Plugin Boutique for $17.99. But before you buy it, I want you to listen to it. I would highly suggest getting the demo, download the demo of it. I bought it just to share with everybody. It's not bad, but I don't know. There's so many other reverbs that have a nice, we're going to do this. It was doing this yesterday for me where it would just decide that it didn't want to load. So let's try one more time. Go over here. Has to do this computer. The one shame with these computers that Apple makes is you can't update the RAM once you buy it. And I got one that didn't have as much RAM as I wish it would have had. And I can't update it. So it's very unfortunate. But let's see here. Let's go down to like Plux. Just find something that's a cool. That'd be nice for a reverb test. So there's two. Let me try one more time. We'll see if SSL is more conducive to loading or not. Huh. I actually had the audio unit swapped out and it wasn't working, and then it was, and stuff like that. Well, it's a little temperamental. I can show you this in Logic. So let's do that. Let's go here. Turn on Unify here. Hello, Unify in Logic. And just to be safe, let's try this with a couple different sounds. Let's go to something like maybe Magic Harp to one of the plucks. So we have just the dry harp. And then we can also compare this. I have both the dry, and right here is the Berlin Studio, which is using the truly incredible Berlin Studio reverb. It's not $17.99, but my goodness, is it this? That's just the reverb. So I can mute this. So I can show you these. Let's do this. So let's call this up inside of Logic, because I think it will be able to. It's not bad. It has some really nice stereo imaging thing in some of the presets. You can lock the mix, which is nice. It has a ducking. But it's not really lively. It's kind of got this, like, I don't know, there's sometimes you hear this thing where it sounds like it's just you're listening to a recording instead of. These are plates. Here's nice halls. You do have a lot of controls for the sound. I think it's better on acoustic instruments, it seems, more so than the electronic instruments. When I was trying it, if we're going to go to like another, say, let's go to like even to Tim's library, and let's say load as a new Unify layer. Let's go down here to like maybe one of these. No, that's not quite right. But one nice thing is we can open up that Unify layer. Let's go into Omnisphere and turn off its reverbs. So we open up here. Let's take a look on there. So we bust spring is used. Okay. Format is there. Okay. Okay, so we're just hearing the SSL. Dry. Not bad. I mean, we have so many reverbs. We got to be a little selective with, you know, Unify has 10 reverbs inside of it. So I'm not going to say much about, you don't need any more reverbs, but Yes, I have an M1 Studio, not the Ultra, but just the Max, and I have 32 gigabytes of RAM. But I'm streaming, I'm high def streaming and playing instruments and plugins and stuff, so it's a little bit more taxing than a lot of people will face, you know? That's nice. Okay. I do like that it has some modulation in the reverb. As I said, also, there's some of them that will have stereo imaging that I hear it like doing some left and right things, which is nice. I'm not sure exactly where they're getting the parameters to do that, but you can definitely hear it sometimes. Anyway, so that's one that's really inexpensive. If you want more information, the link is in the video description. The other reverb that I noticed that came out, I only have the demo of this because, to be honest, it's not something that I see myself needing to call up very often, and that is Recoil. And this is a spring reverb. Oh, dry and wet. I see how it is. They have different presets, of course, which you have to go over here. There's every type of reverb, spring reverb you can think of is represented here. They have both algorithmic, experimental, and natural. Stretch. One nice thing is that most spring reverbs don't have something like this, which is a width, which can put the springs actually like it's like your head's in the middle of a spring tub. So it is interesting. I'm still playing with the demo to decide if it's something I need myself, but that's what the demo is there for you to. Some are more like interesting. Thank you, Shane. Good to see you. Right. So those two reverbs are interesting and fun to check out. Hey, put in the description if you guys have seen anything this week. Have anything that you found this week that was interesting, share, let me know. We're always on the hunt for plugins here, right? Yeah, I wish it was brighter. There should be some more definition when you have it all the way bright. Let's hear this on something like a synthetic. It's cool. It's a very cool sounding reverb. I don't know where else you would go to get that sound. Just depends on if you need it. Bring up the high pass filter to get rid of some of the low end. Clean it up a little bit. And there's some sound design stuff as well so here's all the different tanks. They have algorithmic 3 different tanks, and then they have all these different convolution impulses. So if you change here, you can have up to 3 springs. Now this would make the stereo width not so wide, I guess, right? Whereas if you set this to 3, and then stretch it. Yeah, it's kind of fun. Tank 1. Got the boing. So it's interesting. You've got all sorts of controls. Let's see what this would sound like with the drum kit, just for fun. Let's go up here to the BPM drums one more time. Into a unified layer. Let's say we get something like interesting. Up to 1,000 milliseconds pre-delay. So again, they have different presets. So if you want, you go experimental, and they have so definitely give you that. You got springs, very twangy. And the stretch is basically playing the impulse back at a different pitch. So as it says, as you stretch it shorter, it's playing higher pitch, so it's playing faster. So that slows down the impulse spaces between them. Right? I don't see how to save user patches in Wave Manual. Let's take a look together in it. Anyway, so that's Boz. Let me point that out really quick because it's a cool reverb for those of you that need the twangy. It's right here. Let's see. Right here at Boz Digital Labs. It's normally $99. It's available for, temporary. I don't know how long till the sale is off, but you can get this new reverb if you want some twang. So there you go. So let's go to Wave Manual and look at saving patches really quick. So remember, you can save inside a Unify, which is one option if it's not available here. Let's see. Yeah, there is no... we've been talking to him a little bit, so we can, let's say if I was to change this. Speed it up a little bit. So if I want to save this in Unify, if I said simple fade wave Wave manual. Let's just save it to the user library just as a test. Go save as, and over here hit save. I should be able to go to the user library, find simple, what did I call it? Simple fade, user library. Let's do a quick rebuild. I saved this, save as. It's saving into the user library. Replace. So if we go over here. Oh, that's right. Logic does this wonderful stuff to me. Here, I can do this. I can go cancel, quit, turn off Logic here. Call up Unify here. And let's see if under user library, I copied over all these libraries to show how cool it is to have all these libraries here. And of course it messes up so that it's not showing up here. Interesting. I don't want to do a full library build. It has to be here. So let's try to save one more time. That's so crazy. Well, let's do this. One thing we can do inside of Unify is go over here to the desktop, go to Unify, libraries, user library. Here it is, simple fade. I can just drag. Yeah. So simple, why doesn't it show up in the library? It's there now, so maybe I just couldn't read, but yeah, simple wave, simple fade wave manuals Reverb. And we could change it to be different. So if we were to like say, let's see if we get the different color out of this from probably the shaping. Here's your form. So if we were to save this as a second patch, go save as 2. Save as save. So there it is. So you could save the patches in Unify. I don't see a place to save it inside of itself. So that's something we can, again, this is a free kind of a testing. I think he just called it an interesting name in the first place, remember? It's called a stereo signal shaper. So he doesn't even like have we get this wave manual here, but on the website, he calls it the stereo signal shaper. So not sure what that's about. But anyway, that's one way to save patches, because or else save presets in your DAW. You could save them that way as well. Yeah, interesting. Let's see what else is going on in the chat. Okay. Hey there, 16914. I barter for popcorn. Yeah. So anyway, all around bread and butter Omnisphere library recommendation. Boy, that's an interesting one. If you're looking for a bread and butter Omnisphere library, I did one that I believe is here called Radio Ready. I think I have that here that I can show. Let me see. If not, I could go in and add it. There's 40 libraries for Omnisphere, but it's a library which has truly bread and butter to the point of having multis as well. Let me do this. Let me load it up really quick. Go over here to sample libraries. It goes really well with Dark Forces too, by the way. Let's see if I go Spectrasonics, Steam. Because I have so many libraries, I have a whole place where I have all the patches out because there's just so many libraries. But if I go over here and say radio ready, that's the multis. Put this into the multis. And then go to the patches. Radio ready patches. This actually has an interesting story. My dear friends at Korg gave me permission to include some brass samples. So one thing the Radio Ready library has is some samples from, I think it was from a Korg Oasis at the time. I sampled a couple different combination patches or something like that. Just a single sample, because Omnisphere I can't make multi-sampled, things. So it doesn't sound as good as it does on the Oasis or something like that, of course. But this is a library. If you go over here, check out it on the website if you want even more details about how it works. But this is a library where if we go over here to user directories, and it should show up. Huh? I probably have to rebuild here because it's separate than it is for the patches, right? That's why they have a button here. So if we go here, nope. Okay, what happened? Let's see. Go sample libraries, SabreSounds again. Don't you love live? We're just all hanging out. Settings library, multis. Yeah, I have radio ready showing in the list after OMG drums volume 1. Should be right there. Let's rebuild. Let's do this. Let's maybe have it rebuild this database real quick there. And then let's say reload Omnisphere just to be safe. And so see if we go to patches. And it's not showing up here yet either. So how funny. Let's quit and let's call up Omnisphere directly. Dear Omnisphere, I don't know if I have this routed in, so let me check real quick. This is using what application? Loop back. Let's see. Yeah, let me go up here. I hit the plus button, say Omnisphere, and yeah, did you find it now that I've done it that way? Yeah. So having Omnisphere run by itself, of course, then it works. So this is all sorts of basses and so forth. If you go to the multi-mode, let's see if it shows up here. User directories, there we go, radio ready. It has multis with everything on different MIDI channels for you to do. Like this is for Abacab. So if I set this to 1 and I mute this, you've got basses, the explosions. If you get into something like Heavenly Prayer, this is based on a Madonna song. It's the most bread and butter, straight ahead patches and multis for a whole bunch of different songs of different genres. I want to do a library like this at some point for a Unify because it's really, really fun to do stuff like that. But it's just straight ahead, the patches that you need to do all of those different songs you saw in the multi-list. Check it out at the website. It's there because we do have a nice big sale going on at the site. But if you go to the patches, you have the basses, the bells, guitars, strings, pads. Let's see if we go to like disco, you've got all the for Donna Summers. And here's the brass. So you have because as you know, there's no brass anywhere to find inside of Omnisphere per se. So if you need brass, this is the one place that I know of to get new samples as well as new patches. The Omnipulse libraries are always fun. This is nothing but BPM patches and so forth. But, you know, check the videos on the website for the various products. I don't want to do too much of that right now because we're showing Tim Dale's new library. So I don't want to put too much thunder away from what he has done because it's a great library. In fact, let's take a minute and we'll go through some of the patches in the library. Dark Forces. And let me see if there's any questions in the chat. Do you sign compared to yeah, making a make a new library in Unify and then save the patches. That's a great way to do it since it's having that issue. And once again, my favorites didn't show up. Okay, well, they were there for a minute. Such a great library of really cool sounds. In fact, I wanted to show a couple of the pads. Some of these just knocked my socks off. And the keys, oh my gosh, guys, you got to check some of these out. Is it drifting off? Maybe. These are fun because it's a piano plus pads from the library. And on the knobs, you have the ability to choose the different pads. Right? That's nice and fun to work with. Other things, the pads. Let's see if I don't know why the papers moved, but let me see if I love this one. This is a cool bonus patch. It's combining some elements from Unify. These strings. This is, I think, probably on a mod wheel to bring up. Really cool vibe. Oh, this is one of them I really enjoyed. Really nice. And on the mod wheel, you've got all sorts of really cool that sounds very much like something you'd hear from Jean-Michel. Very cool. Very fun. Yeah, you can't go wrong. There's so many fun things. Elemental things all the way up to big productions and stuff like that. Yeah. It's my spirit animal. Cute. Yeah, Tim Dale says, Jean-Michel Jarre is my spirit animal. So yeah, great library, good stuff to play with, all sorts of cool categories, cool rock guitar. Good stuff. Motion. Some of the textures in this library are really cool, both BPM wise as well as just down here. There's a whole bunch of them that are really nice. And again, if you need to bring out the fundamental, just go to EQ, loudness. Makes a huge difference. Without it, what's the most layers we've done? Well, Unify stops at 24 layers. But you could actually go into the settings file and up that to be a higher number if you have a computer that could handle 24 layers. But yeah, I've done 24 layers before. I actually want to do a video called like, what does like 800 voices of serum sound like or something like that? But I don't have time to do a lot of those types of videos. Someday maybe I'll focus more on those kind of like shorts and all that kind of stuff. But it's really cool. Get that many voices screaming at you. There is one patch in the standard library, Leads. That's kind of fun. That shows off not 24 layers, but if you go to Leads to, where is it? 64. This is 64 voices. It's just 8 layers of a patch that is a sample of a unison from one of my modular synths, the saw unisons from my cloud. And what's fun when you start getting into big layers like this, if you want, the pitch bend range down and up can be either negative or positive values up to, I think, 4 octaves, right? So you can take a patch, and in this one here, the pitch bend up takes it to a chord, down it takes it to unison. The other thing that's really cool with Guru Sampler is there's this lag, which is a slowing down of the speed of certain things. So we have a lag both for the mod wheel and for pitch bend. So you can bring up the pitch bend and it slowly goes up. Really, really nice. That's an idea I lifted from Absinthe, because Absinthe 5 has these lag parameters on everything. So so you can use that for cool tricks in a song production if you want. Yeah. Daniel, are you talking about patches? Number of patches? Yeah, Absinthe is still great. It's still a good synthesizer. Now, the other library that Tim did for Unify specifically is SabreSounds, and it's available and on sale this weekend during the St. Patrick's Day sale. And it has more cool Tim Dale-isms, man. And it's strictly just for Unify. You don't need any other plugins to have this one work. And the mod wheel does all sorts of fun things. So, right? Right, so that's available as well. So grab that if you have just Unify and you don't have Omnisphere. Now let me see if I can do something. I was trying to do this earlier and we were failing at getting this to work. Let's see. They're showing up now. So let me see if I can get these samples. I really want to hear the Taurus that somebody has sampled for the collective library. We've got 1 week left to contribute patches to our little collective sample, you know, the group sample library. So let's see if I can get these to work. I'll go here. I don't know if I can get Kindles to work because I think there's some instructions on how to get them to work. But if I go to samples and put these 3 dude samples into here, and yeah, that's much faster. Earlier it was doing it and took it a long time, and like that. And then Kindle's over here to the top. So hopefully we can check these out. So let's go over here. I haven't had this week because of getting Tim's library out. I didn't have time to do anymore. But if there's a minute, I think there's a minute, we might be able to add one thing I wanted to sample really quick. That's just sitting over here staring at me, which would be kind of fun. So let's do this. Let's go to the collective real quick, which is right here, volume 1. We have all of these patches already. There's the, remember the toy bell stuff, the vase hit that I did last week? Well, I went through and picked out and I also have it as a round robin. Which is really fun to, it's pretty easy to do. You just, when you're adding things inside of Bjorn's sample mapper, if you use this, let's see if I go over here to, just as an example, let's go libraries, collective, samples. If I was to load, say, these samples, when you drag them over the interface, it pops up the load window. And there's a button right here that says import to new group. And so import each sample of a round robin to its own group. And that way, when you import it, you now have a group select up here to choose from the groups. And then you can change things parameter-wise if needed for tunings and so forth. But this is how to set it up. And when you save it, it will save it in separate groups. But since they're samples layered on top of each other inside of Unify, it sees those and goes, oh, I'm going to randomly choose one of those 3 samples. And it's truly random. There's no sequencing. There's no choosing it to do 2 of this, 1 time that, 1 of that. It's truly random for every note. So each note. Now, let's go over here. Let's check out, see if these new things work. Moog Taurus. Oh, yeah. Fun. Wow, cool. Oh, I've got random on. Turn off. Wow. Nice. I saw that there was also someone did a SY77. Ah, very nice. Now, Then the other thing that was added was coat rack. All right. TO playing the current. So as you can see, I've changed the multi-sound list. If you do samples and you want to get them to us, if you can do this, it's helpful. Put your initials at the very beginning. That way everybody's stuff will be grouped together. So that way it makes it a little bit easier to find. Otherwise, it's just all over the place. It's a really challenging mix. But all of these samples are going to be released next Saturday at the live stream. Well, no, I'm 2 weeks, because next week is the deadline to get me the samples. And then we have a week to get everything working and mapped out, which we will need, because there's still a lot of samples actually to make maps for it. We've got, Ian sent us just a whole folder I showed you guys last week with like 1,400 samples. So we have to go through that and pick out samples that we want to have put into this fun little library. But there's a lot of stuff to play with. So it's really exciting how it's coming along. I see. So you guys are talking about the distortion. Most of the distortion is going to be found in Tim's library. If you go over here, Dark Forces, and you call up a patch, that's for instance got some. Like I hear a bit of distortion in that. So all you have to do is go to the effects. Flame, although it's really minimal. You just turn off the effects right here. Now this might be one of those things where turn off the ARP. Using the Waveshaper. So some of it's baked in that you can turn off. The Waveshaper synth that I showed you earlier, Omnisphere has wave shaping built in with 4 different types of wave shapers. As well as a bit resolution crusher and sample rate. So you can break things up pretty severely. And there is a mix. So if you call up a patch, like let's call up this patch again, TechnoKid. If you want to minimize that distortion, let's see, he's got show parameters. So it's on the wheel. So you could bring this down. Well, it's not on layer B, it's just layer A. Up, it's even more mangled. So it does take a little bit of investigative research. It's not always effects, because Omnisphere has a certain number of effects. The ring modulator, Waveshaper are definitely like separate effect plugins that are built into the oscillator section of the engine. So you can mess up the sound. That's one of the smart things with Omnisphere that makes it unique, is that you can have this sound going through a Waveshaper and a ring modulator and FM before it hits the filter. You know, your effects section is at the end of the list of synthesis. Whereas what's fun with Omnisphere is that these tools are available before you get out of the oscillator section. So it's like your oscillator section, before it gets to the filter, you can get even more complex, distorted, things like that going on. Okay, so yeah, you can find, if you go to the Waveshaper and it's doing something, there's little lights that you can see to turn off that effect. Let's call up another. Okay, so this has definitely got some distortion of some sort. So let's take a look. And for me, on this Mac, I have to close and open the browser to get the window back so I can move it. I don't know why, but that's the solution, is you can close the browser and open the browser. And on some computers, I don't know why. It doesn't do this for Shane. It's really funny. So the first thing is to turn off effects. Still sounds kind of distorted to me, right? So then you go through here and you look to see. So that did some of it, for sure, right? There's something popping up every now and then, right? What I love to do a lot of times with Omnisphere, say we do something like sync, right? Right click this and say modulate with random. And then put this in the middle so it can go both directions. And you can get into really fun stuff with the randomizer really quickly because the arpeggiator is giving you new notes. You know, you take that, then you put that through effects. Good stuff. So, yeah, you can find the distortion. You can minimize it if you want. So I was going to sample. Let's see. I'm trying to decide which one I want to sample. I've got two different rain sticks. It's that one or definitely this one. It's more smooth. And I have microphones in stereo set up behind me. So let's do this really quick just for fun. So let's go to Logic. I need to go up here and say, give me a separate audio track and make it stereo. And I think I want inputs 1 and 2. Record. That's these guys. Let's make sure my levels are balanced. I'm gonna have to turn on my light for a second because I was messing around down there. Let's see, go like that. That looks good. So let's just record this. So I've got inside of Logic, I have this set up. You could be doing this with any percussion audio source, synthesizer, all that kind of stuff. Let's make this smaller. I just have the inputs and I'm picking my levels. That looks nice. So just record. Don't need to click. All right, this is a rain stick. So I'm going to just record a number of things and then I will go back and pick and choose. So I can. Do a little bit more intense. You can also do really cool stereo imaging ones like this, where you drop it, you have it go down and. Okay, so we got those to play with, so we can play it back. Stereo imaging ones like this, where you drop it, you have it go down and. So let me just zoom in on this. This is really quick and dirty. Go down and. So we're gonna say right here, Command T. Go down and. Okay, so so we can shorten this. I want this piece right here without my talking. And then I can just right click and say export one audio file, export as an audio file. Again, this is really quick. Just to the desktop, export. So it shows up here. I'm going to rename it. Let's just call this Rain Stick. Stereo. Okay. So I'm going to go, so download the library, right? The collective library. I'll show you the process if you want to do something. And I have this new sample and I want to add it to the libraries. So go to libraries, go to the Guru Collective. You've installed the library already, so the layout is there. Go to samples, go into here, go into the samples folder, and here you'll make a folder with your name. So those are already names. I'm going to put mine into the JL samples, right? And it has its name here. So I want to first, I'm going to loop this really quick because I want to have it do that and keep going. So I'm going to call up Endless Wave, call it the sample. Actually, before I do this, I'm going to pull this over to my sample editor really quick because I want it to be a little bit hotter volume-wise. So let's go over here and I'm going to say controls. Over here under effects, they have a normalize option. I'm going to set it at like 80%. So it just brings it up. Right? And I don't need this stuff because that's extra. So save. So I can close this down. I can redrag this now in here. It'll be louder. Let's see. Let me quit. Save, close. No. That program, it doesn't update waveforms sometimes. So now when we drag this over, and I want it to loop like from here to here, let's say. Just a little bit of crossfade. And when I hit, there's a command up here for next file in the current folder. So you can like edit through all your samples. It says, do you want to save this? Say yes. And what it does is it gets rid of the end of the sample. And if I go over here to previous, you'll see it's got the loop, all that stuff. So now I need to go to the, I fixed the sample. It's looping, right? So was that this sample that I fixed? Or was it this? I think I did the one from, no, I did the one from here because I have it here too. I'm getting myself confused. So you go away because we have it here. Now we need to go to the sample mapper. And so for the mapper, this could just be at C4. So I'm going to just say C4 at the end of the name. That tells this mapping program that I want it to be mapped on C4 for the original pitch. So find it in the list. It selected it. Root name, there we go. Say import. And then just say save at. Make sure that before you do this, you go to the preferences and make sure you check this box to say export Plugin Guru Unify format. And that will save it in a format that Unify can directly load. So go save SFZ as. And this is where you can go. And I have it set to the Guru Collective. So I could say JL Rainstick. Stereo. Okay. So we have now put it into the library and we have made the SFZ map that Unify needs in order to load that sample. So now we can have Logic go away, go back over here. Let's go to the collective library. And what you can do is call up one of the default patches that I contributed when we first start the library. You've got the soft. So I have this single map with all these cool parameters for changing with the knobs. Start there, click in the list, and there it is. And I have decay to sustain, so let's bring this up. Cool. Now, it doesn't seem to be looping, so maybe I screwed up and I looped the file that I put in the trash. So if that's the case, I'll show you how you fix that because it's important to know this. Let's go back to Unify, Libraries, Collective, Samples, into the Samples folder, to my folder, Rainstick Stereo. Let's call this up here. Oh, so see, it's looping here, but for some reason, it doesn't have it in the SFC file. So we can go over here to our sample mapper. It still has that sample there. Click this little load button and say update all files in the group. And it should now have the loop information. No, it doesn't. Okay, so I think we got maybe a small thing going on here. Let's go endless wave. I quit, right? So let's go restart endless wave. Load this up. And this is not the looped one. Okay, so I got to loop it again. So that's not a problem. I can go like this to this. Let's go like this. I want to use this crossfade shape. That works. So Command Shift next and previous. Save. Okay, now we can go back here. See how it doesn't have loop information? Since I did the looping just now, if I go back here to load and I say update, boom, it now has loop information put into it. So I can hit save again because I still have this thing in memory, so I could just go resave the SFZ. Now when I go back to Unify and I call this up, it should be looping. Now it's looping. Cool. So you can take something like this. Got that nice stereo panning to it. Go to the pads inside of the Unify library. And just to show you an example, like right click, load into Unify. And let's go over here and you want to put a nice slow fade. And then for something like this, you'll want to sometimes high pass filter it so that it only certain frequencies show up. Right? Because you don't want all the low stuff, so use appropriate filtering if you need to. And then turn this off, make this bilateral, rhythmic. Saw down. You start getting some interesting territory. Yeah, rain sticks are great for making ocean wave sounds. If you wanted to, you could bring the filter down. This, have it be nice and slow and fade out. Right? And then just put its own effects, give it a nice reverb at 100%, like 100. So you can get some cool frequencies. Right? Okay. All right, we're over our time limit. So there you go. Thank you guys for watching. Let's do our shout outs. Oh, Bob's here. Hey, Bob. Yeah, we have a library in the works for Bob that's stunning that will be coming out in April. Really, really cool. Shout out from Portland, Oregon. Yeah, so we have one more week for you guys to send samples to us, and then I'll need about a week to organize everything up. Good to see you all. Yeah. Yes, Voltage Modular is on sale. I saw that, Nicholas. It's really cool. Good stuff. All right, Milwaukee, Kenmore, Washington. Hey, Andrew. Good to see you. Kentucky, good to see you, Simeon. Hope you're feeling well, my friend. Kasaka in Japan. Domo arigatou gozaimashita. Domo. Yeah, again, if you have technical support questions, you can email us at unifysupport@pluginguru.com. We're here for you. Shout out to Tim. Good job on the library, man. People are loving it. It's doing very well. So I'm happy That's all good. All right. Well, be well, everybody. We will see you next week. We'll find out what cool library Fred has for us to play with next week. It's going to be really fun. And be well, be creative, and happy St. Patty's Day and all that stuff. All right. So see you later. Bye.